Lawlessness and the ultimate taboo, power, identification, and the collapse of exception. The current political confusion does not arise from a lack of information, but from a failure to understand how power actually works. In democratic societies, power is officially imagined as regulated, bound by law, morality, responsibility, and equality. Yet again and again we observe the opposite dynamic. Blatant violations do not weaken certain power figures, they strengthen them. This is especially true when lawlessness is not hidden, but performed openly and demonstratively. When a political figure like Donald Trump repeatedly violates norms and survives, he is perceived by both elites and large segments of the population as stronger than the system itself. For the privileged, this confirms a familiar culture of exception, the lived experience of being above rules that apply to others. For the non-privileged, the appeal is different, but no less powerful. In a system experienced as abandoning them, demanding responsibility without dignity, obedience without reciprocity, identification with lawlessness becomes a last form of political agency. If the rules cannot be changed, one can at least side with the person who ignores them. Here, lawlessness ceases to signify moral decay and becomes a symbol of sovereignty. The transgression itself becomes proof of power. But power is never limitless. As Marx observed, for every new territory the conqueror subdues, he also encounters a new border. The same is true of lawlessness. There exists a deeper, often unacknowledged boundary beyond which the logic of exception collapses rather than consolidates authority. To understand that boundary, we must move beyond law and politics and into anthropology. Claude Lévi-Strauss showed that the incest taboo is not merely one moral norm among many, but a foundational structure of social life. It marks the transition from nature to culture. By prohibiting sexual relations within the closest kinship bonds, especially involving children, societies force desire outward, creating alliance, exchange, and continuity. This taboo is neither accidental nor negotiable. It is constitutive. That is why violations in this domain behave differently from other scandals. Many norm breaches can be absorbed through cynicism or polarization. Everyone does it. The system is corrupt anyway. But here, identification collapses. The act can no longer be read as rebellion or strength. It is experienced as a threat to the symbolic order itself, to the conditions that make social life possible. This is the hidden limit of lawlessness. Populist power exploits a fragile alliance between two urges. For exception, the narcissistic elites drive toward limitless accumulation of power, and the marginalized populations desire to escape powerlessness. Both are drawn to a fantasy of life without constraints. But some limits are not enforced primarily by institutions. They are enforced by society's symbolic architecture. They persist even when mocked, denied, or politicized, and when approached, they reactivate with force. This is what makes contemporary lawlessness both powerful and unstable. Open norm violation can legitimize authority. It can mobilize identification across class and status. It can survive exposure and even feed on it. But it cannot cross every boundary. The fantasy of total exemption from responsibility ultimately collides with a prohibition older than democracy, deeper than law, and more resilient than ideology. This does not guarantee justice. It does not ensure timely accountability. It does not mean societies will respond wisely or humanely. But it does mean that even the most aggressive lawlessness carries an internal limit, a taboo no power can transgress indefinitely. Modern populist power may thrive on rule-breaking and reward those who practice it. Narcissistic hardening may be mistaken for strength, and political marginalization may make irresponsibility feel like agency. But beneath these dynamics lies a fault line. When transgression stops signaling sovereignty and begins threatening the symbolic foundations of social life itself, lawlessness loses its legitimating force. Power can deny many borders. It cannot erase them all. And the most decisive boundaries are not always written into law. Some are inscribed into the deepest structure of society itself.